But as I mentioned, you are in the Fit, Healthy, and Blessed Club. My goal, one of these days, super soon, is to turn this into a podcast. Why? Because I feel that these words have to be pushed out to everybody. I'm feeling so supercharged today. I got a lot of rest. I said, I'm not setting an alarm clock. Okay. I was setting an alarm clock for late time. Normally I get up at about 4:30, but I got back from LA, and traveling from LA, Chicago, all over the world, my body was like, Tina, bring it down. All right, where was I? I was talking about inspiration. Who inspires you? What inspires you, guys? For me, it's to be better. Okay, so today, I said when you come into this room, you're going to get motivated, you're going to get inspired, and then we're going to give you the tools, the skills, and the strategies to make all your dreams come true, to make everything that you want come true. And trust and believe, guys, it can come true if you set a plan, if you get going. Now, we used to do something back in the day when I began this room. We would do something called Question of the Day. And I'm not really sure why we stopped that, but I want to bring it back. And before we bring it back, I want to introduce our mods here, but let me explain how this room works if you're new to Clubhouse. Good morning, Mommy. I see Bedroom Bully. I said belly. I don't know why I said that. And Rosa, our good old Rosa. So we want to share the room out. Looks like we have 5 shares in the room right now, which is absolutely amazing. But we also want to invite people because some people don't know what this is. If you're watching me on LinkedIn, you can see my face, so you don't really need to get on Clubhouse. But what it is, you're going to see a number that says 5. You press that button and it gets you to get in the hallways. And then on the left, you see our chat over there. That's for someone who may be sitting at work and you can't raise your hand and come up on stage and talk to us, but we do want to hear from each and every one of you. So that's what that little left chat is there for. Then you see some scissors here in the link. These scissors are amazing, guys. Sometimes, okay, not sometimes, all the times when you come into this space, you're going to hear somebody that says that says something and you're like, oh, it hits your heart, it hits your soul, and you're like, I wish I could have recorded that. Well, guess what? You can clip those scissors and record the last 30 seconds. All right, today we're talking about falling down and getting up, and we're going to give you tips on how to do this because trust and believe, everybody has gone through some type of traumedy. That is my word. Traumedy is a trauma and a tragedy put together because a trauma, we spoke about this on I don't know what day it was. It feels like my days are rolling together. But it can be different for some people, but we all get through it no matter what it is. And I want each and every one of you to share. And I'm going to give you my tools on what I do because that is pretty much my zone of genius. So the question of the day, and I want everybody to answer this, whether you're in the chat, whether you're on top, is what is your personal zone of genius? Now, before you can answer this question, you're probably like, what the heck is she talking about? Well, zone of genius. Let's think about that word zone. When you're in a zone, have you ever been in a zone? It's like you're focused. You're there. It's like the eye of the tiger. This could be like Lisa right here when she wrote her book. I don't know how many books she's read so far. She also has a publishing company. So if you're listening to my voice and you're in Clubhouse and you're like, I want to write a book. I don't know how. Hit up Lisa. She was in her zone when she got that idea. Mary Kim, when she's focused on her whatever it is, because she does so many amazing things, empowering women, being a great mom. She gets in her zone of genius. So what is your personal zone of genius? That is my question of the day to each and every one of you. If you're not able to chat, please put it in the chat for us. Yes, come on up here and speak for us. My zone of genius, guys, is I am an expert on energy and how to teach people to turn their traumedy into triumphs. That is my zone of genius. So if you ever need someone to inspire you, to motivate you, to teach you how to get up when you've fallen down, to teach you what you need to do, how to do it, I am that person for you. That is my personal zone of genius, and I do that through fitness. Fitness is my passion. God has gifted me with this. I'm going to say unfortunately, all right? He had to throw a lot of crap on me, guys, to give me this tough skin. He had to throw a lot of stuff in my tool belt. I got a little tool belt back here. And every time I hear something, I have to go into that tool belt and I have to pull out the skills and the tools and the strategies and trust and believe. It is not easy. Sometimes I don't want to dig into that tool belt because I have to go back to what I went through. All right. I feel like I'm going to start rambling. I'm not going to go there, but maybe I will. because God knows that some people can't handle certain things. And that's why he puts people like me, like Lisa, like Mary Kim, like all of these mods here and yourself to get through. All right, I'm going to stop chatterboxing. Kren, are you ready to tell us your zone of genius? If so, on Mike, let me hear you, Mamacita.
I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, what is my zone of genius? Oh my God.
If you want to think a little bit more, go for it, because I know Colleen is ready to rock and roll. You want to think about it?
Go ahead, Colleen. Back to me.
Good morning. This is a great topic, Tina, so good choice for today. I think my zone of genius is being a cheerleader for others, lifting other people up. And as an outsider, I get really good at having difficult conversations and helping people, on their next leg of as a sounding board. So people will come to me, and it's almost like sometimes they have an idea of what they want to do, and they really need somebody to, bounce that idea off to move to the next level. And because I've, done that so many times with business, I can really help guide, maybe lend an ear from my experience, or walk through them if they want to, try it their way as well. If it's something, I advise, and they don't want to take that advice, to walk through them, to be there, to support them, to cheer them on, because people are experts in their own lives, and everybody needs that supportive friend to help lift them up and walk with them when they have to go through things. Because you're absolutely right. Sometimes our expertise comes because we've gone through really, really tough times. And sometimes people need to experience that for themselves before they get to that part of the journey. And that's just part of their path. This is Colleen, and I'm complete.
Colleen, thank you. Guys, if you didn't know, Colleen is one of our newest moderators, and we love her. And she actually is the VA Connection. She runs a virtual assistance company. And if you're looking for a VA or something like that, tap into her. And I also want to say Black Friday, we're having a special room, because we don't normally do rooms on Fridays. We're having a special room on Black Friday. We want you to come through and pitch your product, share what you're doing, because everyone loves to save money and all that great stuff, right? Love it. Okay, today's question of the day. We're bringing this back, guys. What is your personal zone of genius? And Mary Kim, you are up, Mamacita.
Good morning, everyone. I love this topic. Welcome back to home, Stars Tina, from traveling. I want to say, when I was writing my bio, or had to write my first bio, I asked my friends that I've known like 35 to like 40 something years, like, what is it that they get from me that I had, like, that's not like monetary value? Like, what is the investment you got from me, like, or what you see from me? And all of them really said that I have a unique perspective on life's adversities, and that I see who they are in a different way than other people do, and I have a different way of looking at life, kind of like see hope in the hopeless, and just managing through different perspectives of life, of adversities, whether it's something, a trauma, or just basic life stuff that happens to all of us. So I want to say that's my zone of genius, of just digging deep into whatever situation to see a different perspective of whatever situation someone is in. So I'm going to say that is my zone of genius.
I love it. And guys, Mary Kim, when is that day? In my mind, I text you like every day. When is that B day?
What B day?
B is in boy. B is in boy.
B day?
Yes.
Oh, I'm like, what's B day? What does that mean? It's next Tuesday.
Okay, next Tuesday. Gotcha. We're having a special room on next Tuesday, guys. It's her birthday. Alrighty. So I'm super excited for this next speaker here. Lisa, what is your zone of genius? Talk to us, Mama. If you're able to speak on mic. If not, go for it.
Hey, Tina.
Hey.
So my of genius is a wonderful ability to be able to peek behind the curtain.
I miss that so much. Oh my gosh, I miss you. I miss you. Sorry guys. I used to hear that every week and I miss it.
As women, we take the mask, right? And we have this smile that hides the tears and the pain and the kiss and to sake, we all want to be seen and heard. But we live in a world that's on autopilot. We don't see one another. We take what is put in front of us as face value. But I have this wonderful ability that God has given me to peek behind the curtain, and perhaps it's because of my past pain where people didn't see what was going on, but took my fake smile as what it was. That God has said to me, what you're going to do is peek behind the curtain. You're going to see past the smile, past the mask, and see that woman and see the pain and tap into that and talk to her about it and let her know, I see you, sis. All we need is for somebody to say, you okay? You know how many ledges we stand on that we step back from because one person said, are you okay? And really pause to hear the answer. How often do we walk past someone and say, hey, how you doing? And we don't even wait to hear them say, fine, not fine. But I knew how serious it was when one day I said, hey, how you doing? And I waited. And they looked at me and was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm actually waiting for you to answer me. Oh, you really care? There's a running joke. I'm not complaining because nobody's really listening. Well, you know what? I'm listening. We all want to be seen and heard. Why do we go on social media? So that we're seen and heard. But enough with the masks. I love walking through my house without the freaking mask. So, my zone of genius is peeking behind the curtain. I want to know what's going on with you because you're worthy of that. You're worthy of it. So this is Lisa, and I'm complete. Thank you for inviting me, Tina. I miss you too.
Didn't I tell you guys she was amazing? I'm just going to take this moment to look for my lighter, look for my Palo Santo. Because Lisa's got me feeling a certain sort of way. Let me tell you guys, Lisa did something, what she just said for me when we were speaking. And like she said, people will say this to you all the time. They're like, are you okay? But do they really care? And she said it, and it's like she can hear it in your voice. And she called me, this was a while ago, and she's like, are you okay, sis? And her thing is sis. And it's like she knew, like she could feel the je ne sais quoi. And it's funny how you get on work meetings. And one day I was on a Zoom meeting with my Mom's Link crew. And everyone was like, hey, how you doing? And I said, do you really care? And the girl said, yes, I do. And I said, well, to be honest, I'm really not doing too good. And then she went into it and she just lifted me up and everyone lifted me up. And like Lisa just said, I think it's important that we are honest with ourselves and we are honest with other people. When you're not feeling okay, when you're not feeling amazing or good, share it. Say something. Don't be afraid of it. Okay? My girlfriend, she lives in New Jersey. Last week she was telling me how her grandmother's in hospice and she lives alone and she's like, I really don't want to be alone. And I said, girl, I'm on my way. I will be there for you. Okay, she was there for me on all the tough times of my life. She was my maid of honor. And I said, I got my ticket, I'm coming. And she's like, oh, you don't have to do that. I said, I know I don't have to do it, but I want to be there for you because she says she never speaks out. Long story short, she didn't, she ended up going to her sister's house or whatever. But we have to let people know what's going on, as Lisa says, behind the curtain, because you're not going to have amazing people like Lisa to peek open the curtain and say, hey, I know something's going on. And you got to just let us know. Alrighty, thank you so much for sharing that, Lisa. This room is getting heavy, guys. I told you, we're hitting it hard today because I believe in like a nice, good workout. When you're working out, you don't have to work out for hours. You don't have to be in these clubhouse streets for 10, 15, 20 hours a day. Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, we have lives to live. We have people to love. I want to live in real life. This past weekend, I had the opportunity to spend time with my beautiful daughter who is in California. And I do believe in planning things, but sometimes I just kind of go with the flow of what God has for me. And my daughter reached out to me on Friday and she says, she's a dancer for the Clippers. That's a basketball team. It's okay if you don't know because I didn't know either. And she's like, man, Mom, I wish you could be here to watch me dance. And she said, I'm going to be right in the front. It's going to be amazing. And I was like, let me see what I can do. And I reached out to my sister and made some other phone calls and I made it happen. And I was able to be there for her. And the day of the game, it was on Sunday, her boyfriend and his mom and her family came. And when I saw them, when we went into the stadium, I immediately was flooded with just so much emotion because her boyfriend's name is Jamar with an R at the end, like road. And my son's name is Jamal. So I don't even call him Jamar because so many times I accidentally called him Jamal and I call him Jammer. And I'm sorry, I can't call you Jamal because it just makes me think of my son. And I'm looking at his mom and she's with her son and she's with her daughter. And I'm like, I'm never going to get that again. I'm never going to have that moment where it's me and him watching her in a game. But I said, you know what, Tina, at least I went to that state of gratitude, because going down that barrel of woulda, coulda, shoulda. Yes, I was sad for a little bit. But then I got to see her out in the court, and it just felt amazing. I have no idea where this story is going, how I got there, guys. We're talking about peeking behind the curtains right now. What is your zone of genius? What makes you great? What makes you stand out? What is that gift that God has given you? Whew, I told you it was getting heavy in here, guys, but I'm feeling good, and I'm so grateful that God has given me the opportunity to just go with the flow. All right, I see some newbies up here. I got to put on my glasses because your girl's getting old, guys. She can't see. I'm going to hit the topic hard, but if you raise your hand to come up on stage, I want to know what is your zone of genius. I'm looking in the chat right now. Yes, say one more thing, Lisa, and you don't have to ask. Just unmic, girlfriend. Go for it.
Thank you. So, Tina, I appreciate everything that you and my heart goes out to you, sis, for what you just shared with us. Thank you for your transparency. It's always appreciated, and I honor you in that space. I think it's important for us to realize that not everyone's going to share with you, right? So when we say, how are you, they won't always share, and they won't always be transparent because we do live in a world where often you feel like no one cares. But I think it's important for you to peek behind the curtain, and what that looks like means that sometimes you have to look at who they are when they don't feel like you're paying attention, because you often will see behind the curtain when they feel you aren't paying attention. The smile will stop, the laughter will be gone. You have to see what they're not saying. Read between the lines. People tell you a lot in their silence. Just spend a moment with them and say nothing. You'll hear it all. And ask the right questions. My daughter said to me, how can I tell my girlfriend she needs to leave her man? I said, you don't tell her that. You ask her the right questions. What is it that you love? She'll answer it. Ask the right questions. Pay attention. Focus on someone else for a moment. We're often in the mirror so hard, we don't even notice the ones around us that's falling, the very people we declare that we love. So peeking behind the curtain is not always the person pulling the curtain for you to see, but you've got to make the effort. Make the effort. You'll hear the story loud and clear if you're just silent long enough. So that's all I need. This is Lisa, and I'm complete. Thank you.
Do you guys see why we need her in this room? Lisa, can you come here every day? Come on now, girl. Come on, sis. You can carve out a little time in the morning for us, Monday through Thursday. Thank you so much for that, Lisa. Guys, if you're loving what you're hearing, can I see some stars in the chat? I see we got some people here on YouTube. I want to say good morning to Telly's Corner. Meet me there. Before I get off of Lisa, guys, really quick, she does do coaching as well, I believe. Am I correct, Lisa?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So if you're liking what you're hearing from her, if you're loving what you're hearing from her, follow her. Follow the person next to you. Follow the person above you. Guys, I want to share what I hear going on in these YouTube streets. And YouTube, I do want to apologize for not being on here Monday or Tuesday. I was in California, and Lord of mercy, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. And girlfriend was not trying to, I did roll out of bed, but this morning I was like, I need to let them see my face. So I'm letting you guys see my face today. And I want to say good grand rising, Telly's Corner. So Telly's Corner says from YouTube, what is your personal zone? Well, actually it's deeper than personal zone, Telly. It is your zone. Oh, but she stated a question for us. We're talking about what is your zone of genius. Telly's Corner says, my personal zone is uplifting others, allowing themselves to be cracked open. Ooh, Telly sounds deep. To do that with my story and speaking up. And that is so true, guys. Sometimes we have to share our story. But, you must share your story after you've, how can I say this? from a place of power, from a place of strength. If you're sharing your story and you're boohoo crying, I'm not saying that's not a good thing, but you have to get through it. You have to teach others from your story. All righty? Woo, rocking and rolling today. We're going to get on our topic. All righty. I told you guys I'm getting old, right? Who is this next to Lisa? Okay, this is Jennifer. Make some noise, guys, for this beautiful creature right here. This is Jennifer Mahara. Jennifer, Parkinson's warrior. Yes, Global Summit and events producer and creator of Annual Healing Summit. Jennifer, are you the person who did the event with Mary Kim last week?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Boo. Go for it. What's your zone of genius, Jennifer? Would love to hear from you.
Oh my gosh. So I really think that my zone of genius is about creating a purposeful, heart-centered community of people who share the same passion, who share the same desire, who share the same vision. And as a community, we are coming together to empower and inspire the community as one. I truly, truly believe community is needed. We must support one another through the good, through the bad, through the pain, through the grief, through all the things that we need. Provide those strategies, that advice, that guidance. And I've been told that I'm really good at just connecting people and building this community of people. I love community. I believe in collaboration. I believe that we need to empower and strengthen each other through all those times. And, I needed people when I was first diagnosed, and I was looking for that community. And I always dedicated myself to saying I would continue creating my own community. And I've been doing that. And it's a constantly evolving journey. So that is definitely my area of genius. I just love creating a heart-centered, purposeful community with intention and power. This is Jennifer, and I am complete.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And guys, if you didn't know, Jennifer, you just missed her online event. She's doing it again next year, but she had speakers and authors and poets and all sorts of wonderfulness. And you do sound like a warrior. Girlfriend, let me tell you, it sounded like you were reading a script for a minute, but I was like, she's just got her stuff together. And guys, when you know yourself, when you're grounded, when you're focused, you just sound amazing. And Lisa, she's Lisa's on my mind, right? Jennifer, girlfriend, you are in your zone. Love it, love it. Bedroom bully, let's hear from you, Mama. Miriam, what is your zone of genius? Would love to hear from you. If you're ready, unmic.
Yeah, my zone of genius is I'm a connector. I'm a problem solver. I'm the one that gets the party right. That's my stroke of genius.
I like that. She says, get the party started right. I was watching something yesterday, and there was this person in the show, and he was like you, Bedroom Bully, just kept the party started. When someone was feeling bad or down, they looked over to him, and they're like, come on, get the party started. And that's not an easy thing to do. So great. Crin, are you loving the conversation? Have you found your zone of genius yet? Crin, Cynthia.
My zone is open-minded. I always get people to come to me and just want to blurt out their personal things in the grocery store. It don't matter where I'm at. My family say, why everywhere we go, people just like to talk to you. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I'm that talkable person, but for some reason, people love to tell me and talk to me. And I believe, and then I can read people. I can see when things are wrong, and I guess I get that from my past trauma. I can see when somebody is just a little off, or they need a little lift, or they need just a friend, somebody just to listen to, no one to answer that. They just need someone to listen. So I believe what I know. That is my zone, guys.
I love it. So if you're just coming this way, it's, hey, Ash, hey, girl, hey. In my mind, I was trying to text you because I'm like, Ashley, I want you here, girl. We're talking about, we bought that question of the day, guys. I'm feeling super pumped. I don't know if it's my ketones. I don't know if it's because I got some extra sleep. I don't know. It's maybe because I'm about to get on another plane. But we're talking about your zone of genius, your purpose, your passion. What is that gift you have that pushes you through? And we're having an amazing conversation right now. If you're not able to share, just put in the chat. Looks like we are up to, oh my gosh, great. Put your glass, guys, I'm so fighting this old age, you wouldn't believe it. It took me 2 years to finally get glasses. Great Dorlin, wisdom, shares helping business owners cut down costs and providing easier ways for them to reach their goals. Well, heck, I like that. Share with us your zone of genius if you're able to.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So, my name is Great Dolan Wisdom. My zone of genius is I actually help business owners to actually achieve some things that they would have used ton of money to actually achieve in their businesses. Especially through email marketing and building communities that always ready to buy their product and their services. So, what I do is I help them cut down costs that they should most times be paying monthly and all of this, and I put it down into just a down payment. I do that with email marketing and some other services actually offer. So that's my zone of genius. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you so much for sharing. And guys, get ready, because as soon as we finish our question of the day, today's topic is going to be amazing. There may be some tears here. I'm hoping Lisa's able to share. We're only here till 9 o'clock because I want to spend some time with my guy before I get to the airport. But right now, what is your zone of genius? Chris, you're up, mamacita.
Hello. You guys have just stated all my zones of genius. And so my zone of genius is going to be divine timing, popping into this room and being with everybody that loves to collaborate, to connect, to listen, to live in gratitude. Those are my zones, and you guys all have the same zone, so I'm just like, this is divine timing. I am just in a space with all my great people, and you guys are filling my heart, so that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you so much, Chris. And I do want to say some extra mornings here. Hey there, Aretha. Hi there, Soul. Great to see you guys. I see Telly. Hey, girl. Hey. Guys, give Telly a follow. Give the person next to you a follow. The person above you. Let's do a quick little reset because it's 8:30. We're halfway through the hour. And let's just invite some people in here, clicking that button on the bottom because it's going to be pretty impactful today. You're in the Fit, Healthy, and Blessed Club. If you have not already, please click that link at the top. Click the notifications. Maybe copy that link, maybe paste that link and send it to someone else, because today we're talking about your zone of genius. We're talking about what makes you stand out from the crowd, the gift you have, and then I'm going to share some tips, and hopefully you have some tips on how to turn your traumedy to a triumph. That's what it's about today. And we're going to give you some tips because some of us have some deep rooted issues that go back centuries, that go back to our ancestors, and we need to get out of that rut. Sometimes you don't have the time, money, or whatever to go to a therapist. So we are here to do that for you. If you click that link at the top, that's me on YouTube right now. I don't like that face there, but that's okay. Alrighty, looks like, okay, all of our mouths have spoken. It's time to get started on our topic, guys. So we've shared the room out. We have 14 shares. There's 15 of us in here, and I don't care if it's one or two, but I want to say hello to everyone out there in YouTubeville, LinkedInville, and Facebookville. I am Stars Tina, and today my goal is I'm going to give you 3 tips on how I got through my traumedy. I'm not going to go through my whole story, but just think of all the things that you have gone through in your life right now, each and every one of you. If you have a pen and paper, I want you to get a pen and paper if you're able to and write it down. And I want you to go back to your earliest memory. Think of the first memory you had in your life. And I was told the very first memory you have is something, it wasn't traumatic, but it was something that impacted you that you remember. And my very first memory, I guess you can say it was a little traumatic, but it was a great memory. And I must have been, my mother could probably tell me how old I was. I think I was wearing a yellow 2-piece bathing suit. I don't know why she put my little fat body in a 2-piece. I was in preschool, I believe. It was a very hot summer day, and they had us outside in a sprinkler. You remember back in the day, it was like this little long piece of metal and water sprouted out of it. And I remember the water was sprouting out, and I looked at my arms and I had goosebumps because I was cold. The sun was shining, but the water, I guess, got on me and I got really, really cold. That is my very first memory that I remember. And I guess, I'm not saying it was a trauma, but it shocked me, right? So traumas can shock a person. So for me, my first memory in life is looking at those goosebumps on my arm. I remember there was a fence and I was happy, I was feeling good, but I was freezing cold. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like, think about when you go out, if you live in the North, you know what I'm talking about, Jersey people. You know what I'm talking about, New Yorkers. You go outside, it's like you lose your breath for a hot second. It's like, it feels like you're gonna have a heart attack. I do not miss those days. But that was my first memory. If you remember your first memory in life, can you please just write it in the chat? If you can remember, just really quick, unmic, share with me your first memory in life. If unmic, go for it.
Hey, Tina.
Hey.
Hey, so this is actually, hello everyone. My first memory in life is I remember I was running and we were running around. I think we were playing like It or something like that. And I just remember going smack dead into a tree. It was, yeah. Yeah.
I can see you too, just all fast.
Yeah, and I remember waking up and my mom was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "What happened?" She was like, "You ran into a tree." And I'm like, "Really?" I thought I was just taking a nap. And I mean, like, I had got a whole concussion and everything. I was like 4. It was, yeah. I think that's what got these little screws loose now.
I love it. So yours and mine were good memories. I love it. If you're watching right now, anyone else, does anyone remember their very first memory? If so, unmic and share with me quick. If you remember it. Okay. And maybe your first memory is something you don't want to share with us. And it's okay. Because I know a good friend of mine, her first memory, and I'm like, it was when she was 2 years old. And it was not a good memory. And I'm like, how in the world do you remember something at 2? Well, I guess sometimes, again, if it's a trauma, if it's a tragedy, for me, I call those traumatides. That's my new thing here. And today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how I got through my traumatides of life. And everyone goes through something. I don't care who you are. Some people's are very high. Some people's are very low. You never want to judge anyone because someone's traumedy could be empty nest syndrome. You know, when their kids leave home from school, it is real, guys. I remember when my daughter went to college in Pennsylvania. I lived in New York. I lived in New Jersey. My son was still home with me, but I felt like I was having a nervous breakdown. When we dropped her off, we were crying like babies. Mind you, I would drive to Pennsylvania every weekend to see her, but it is real. That was a trauma for me. A trauma could be losing your job, getting laid off, getting fired, whatever. If your job is your life, I saw someone who nearly had a meltdown because they lost their job. And I looked at him like, are you serious? And I guess because at that time, my trauma was the loss of my son being murdered. So I'm looking at this person and I'm like, are you serious? It's just a job. But I should not have done that because they were probably going through the exact same feelings that I did. So the reason why I want you to think about your personal traumedy is because I want you to write it down on this paper right now. Let's get it out of our head. Let's face it. Because if you don't face these traumedies, guys, if you don't get them in your face and say, you know what? I'm going to win. I'm not going to let you take over my life. You're going to keep playing this in your head like a record. Think of a vinyl record, guys, right? Some of you are too old to know what the heck I'm talking about, but a record just kind of spins and it keeps going and going, and you either have to scratch it, get it off, break it off to get rid of it. So that's what I'm going to do for you today. I'm going to give you my 3 little tips, and I'm hoping my mods can share something with you. I know Lisa's going to go on to change it. She's going to end us in a word of prayer and hallelujah and hooting and hollering, but that's why I'm going to let her speak last. But the first thing I want to share with you guys, and for me, it was yoga. For me, it was getting back to God. And Lisa was one of the people who helps me realize that it's okay to be upset with God. You know, she's like, it's a relationship, Tina. So the first tip I want to give you today to get over your traumedy is look in the mirror and tap into your higher self. Get on your knees and pray. All right. Realize God is your friend. God can be your... Again, I'm speaking to you from what I've gone through. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm telling you how I've gotten over all the traumatides of my life, how I'm able to stand up today and smile through all the pain, all the craziness, because I know that God gave me these things so I can uplift someone else. There's someone who's hearing my voice right now and they woke up this morning just ready to give up. Do you ever feel like that? So you just want to put up your arms and say, oh my gosh, I can't take it anymore. I feel it. I still do some days. But that's when you have to push through and dig deep into your higher self and realize, think of all the wonderful things you've done, all the wonderful things you've gone through. Because trust me, if you can get through that, you can get through over anything. So maybe for you, it's going back to church. Maybe it's praying. Maybe it's meditating. I don't care what it is. but do something. I can't find my rock right now. I'm freaking because I had this rock that I have. It's my grounding rock. You know, if you ever see me, you'll see I'm always wearing bracelets. I've got my chakras. I've got all these things to help keep me grounded and still, because I used to run away from all of my problems and situations and anything that was uncomfortable, anything that made me squirm and just, conversations can do the same thing for you. Don't run away from it, okay? You have to have those hard conversations. Sometimes you have to share things with others that you really don't want to because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You have to share with them, you know what? You really hurt me when you did blah, 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 blah. But I forgive you because I understand at that point in your life, you were going through something because we don't know what people are going through. And I can guarantee you guys, I mean, there are some evil, malicious people out there, but I can guarantee you most people aren't trying to hurt you. They're just doing what's best for their soul. Okay, I'm going to go to tip number 2 because I could keep rolling and I want to hear from you guys today. Write in the chat if you're resonating with me. Can I see some stars in the chat right now if you're understanding what I'm saying? Are you there with me? Yes, no. If you're watching me on YouTube, give me some stars here. Do you understand what I'm talking about? I'm talking about how to get over a trauma because God wants us to live life to the fullest, guys. God wants us happy. Your loved ones who are no longer with you, they want you happy, guys. They don't want you laying in bed in a ball, crying, sad and upset. Okay, yes, we can have those pity parties for a few minutes, maybe even a few hours. Okay, maybe even a few days, but get up. Get up and keep moving. Hi, Simply Real. This is from YouTube, guys. I want to say, Simply Real says, I was upset with God after being diagnosed with Parkinson's. Even today, I've realized a part of me has lost faith, trying to find that belief again. I just want to cry right now, just reading this right now. Thank you so much for sharing, Simply Real, because I get it. Go ahead. Simply Real
Sorry,
is...
Tina, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no.
Simply Real is Jennifer.
I thought it was Jennifer. I was thinking that
Just
too.
FYI. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. And I say that because I don't know anything about Parkinson's, but I know pain. Trust and believe, I know pain. So you want to blame someone, right? But we can't go blaming anyone. Okay, so that was tip number 2. Thank you so much for sharing that, Simply Real, because there's people who are going through things. So the first thing is I invite you today, tap into your higher self, grab a Bible, listen to this, guys. So I've moved a lot and I didn't have a Bible. And for some reason, I was just feeling the need to have a Bible. You know, I hope I have one here somewhere. I've got Quran upstairs. Anyway, whatever that is for you, tap into that. And then so I reached out to my friend. So I'm like, do you have an extra Bible? She's like, download the app, Tina. Cut the nonsense, okay? Stop the excuses. Download the Bible app or whatever it is for you. Tip number 2, I want to share with you on how to get through a trauma. Your vibe is your tribe. Who are you surrounding yourself with? All right. God's going to put people into your place to take care of you. He knows you're going through this crap. That's why he's positioned certain people. Accept the love. People come into your life for a reason, for a season, and for a lifetime. Recognize it, accept it, and keep it going. Sometimes they come back to you. Sometimes they don't. That's why I love Facebook. That's why I love social media, because it connects me with people that I used to work with, people that are family members, you know, and for me, relationships are always going. They're always flowing. I could get on a phone call right now with Lisa. We haven't spoken physically, hearing her voice. It's probably been about a year now, and it could be like it was yesterday. I could speak to someone that I used to work with 10 years ago, and it was like it was yesterday because they put a footprint, a handprint. I'm going to change that, a heartprint on my soul, because when I talk with someone, when I connect with someone, it is real. I don't have time to waste. Hello. Okay. So if I'm speaking with you, if I'm sharing with you, it's real. All right. I just want to thank some people that I see coming into this space because I'm truly grateful for everyone that's here. I see Shango, Rudy Shango, thank you for coming through the space today. Laurel, thank you for coming through. We're talking about how to turn your traumas into triumph. The first tip I said, tap into your higher self, being still, yoga, meditation, God, whatever that is for you. Number 2, surrounding yourself with amazing people. Not only amazing people, guys, but communities. Communities help you with accountability, movement, exercise. Maybe it's a group of women or people that have gone through the same thing. If you've gone through Parkinson's and I think Rosa has gone through Parkinson's or MS. I'm not sure. Write in the chat mobile. Write in the chat, Rosa, or come up. I would love to hear from you. Parkinson's. That's for Rosa as well?
Yes.
Okay. So, when you're connected with someone who has a I don't want to say interest, but pain, you can connect with that person. We did a breast cancer awareness event this weekend. I don't have breast cancer. I don't know anyone with breast cancer, but God put it on my heart. Tina put an event together. And because of Mary Kim, I had this connection with Mary Kim. She connected me with some amazing humans. It was amazing. Let me just tell you, it was a gift from God. Tap into my YouTube, watch it, guys. The women that came on here, I could see the smiles in their faces when each speaker was speaking and one of the other speakers could relate. They were talking about, I don't know, because I'm not in the breast cancer world, but they were saying words and terms, and you could see the ladies smiling because it's like, yeah, you get this. You understand this. So if you've gone through, maybe it's domestic violence, maybe it's you were molested as a child, maybe you were raped, maybe your child was murdered, tap into those people, guys. There's groups out there for everything. All right. That's how the room that Lisa and I began with was with a woman named Jill. Jill lost her son. We met at an event called Circle of Mothers. I'm sure everyone who hears my voice, you've probably heard of someone called Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin's mother, Sabrina Fulton, she started an event. It's called Circle of Mothers for mothers who've lost a child, because no one can understand what it feels like to have lost a child. I call it a warrior mom. That's where I met Jill. Jill lost her son. I'm not going to go into that rabbit hole now, but she started a nonprofit for her son, the Bakari Foundation. And because of this foundation, my daughter, my sister, and my mother and I, we were gifted a retreat to Costa Rica this year. The three of us had the opportunity to meet 4 other families, and we got counseling. And guys, let me tell you, it was heavy. It was deep. Costa Rica, absolutely beautiful, absolutely amazing. But the therapy, let me tell you, it took you to that place that was just heavy and dark. And then after the therapy, we got to do something beautiful. We went ziplining, and then we went to the therapy. We had therapy 1, sometimes 2, 3 times a day. And then after the therapy, maybe you'd go to the beach and then go back to the therapy. So the point of the conversation here for tip number 2, find your tribe, all right? Tap into the Corinne Cynthia, tap into my mother, someone else, tap into these people because they know what you're going through. That's tip number 3. Tip number 2. Okay. Tip number 3, what we're talking about right now, we started with your zone of genius, your zone of excellence. What is that for you? What is your purpose? What is your passion? How do you get through it? And then we're transitioning to turning your trauma into triumph, because guess what, guys? We all can be triumphant if we have a plan and if we focus. And for me, the way I did that is by speaking my truth. Tip number 1, I said, getting to your higher self, tapping into God. Tip number 2, your vibe is your tribe. And number 3, I'm going to say for me, it's sharing and giving back and knowing what I want. That is my 3rd tip, just visualizing. That's what I'm going to say. Honestly, to be honest, I didn't have 3 here. I'm just rolling off the top of my tongue right now. Having a vision board, knowing what you want, and then making a plan for it. It may not come out perfectly, all right, because you're going to have some people that are going to stab you in the back. This morning, I had many ideas of what I wanted, the topic of this room. People are going to knock you down, and it makes them feel good. Sometimes they're going to take your ideas, they're going to take your thoughts and run away with it. But you know what? Take it, because God is going to take care of me no matter what. So push through, have your vision. Your vision is bigger than you. Did you know that? This YouTube channel right now, this Facebook, whoever's watching this right now, God is here to make the world a better place. All right, raise your hand if you want to chat. Lisa, I'm throwing it over to you because I know you actually know what. Yes, go for it, Lisa. Are you ready? I see Colleen blinking. Go for it. Who wants to go next? Unmic, Colleen. Hit it.
Hi, this is Colleen up in the top corner, the virtual assistant connection. This is an amazing topic. And like you, I used my trauma to create something to uplift other people. So it was a long time ago, I went through a divorce, and it was really traumatic for me and my kids. And not because I didn't want it, I was the one who wanted it, but it was just an awful situation, and it dragged on for years. And so that situation was difficult because there was no end to it. There still isn't an end today, unfortunately, and this is 15 years later. But I had to figure out I cannot let this consume me, because then I can't provide the type of life for my kids. I have to find a way to get through this. And so I was really in survival mode, because it was a little different from, other traumas you go through, because it was never ending. And it is about finding the time to do things that I like to do. It was about journaling so I could, allow time to honor what I was going through, but then release and move on with my day, because I had 2 little ones then who really needed me to be in focus, and to provide for them and look after their needs and not be caught up in what was thrown at me all the time. So it was 11 years ago now I created my company, my first company, and I'm able to give back to other parents, not just moms, but dads as well, who are facing the same kind of hatred after a divorce, who just can't let it be. And I started writing a long time ago around the world. I was releasing these articles, and one evening I was just folding my laundry on the bed, and a woman from Australia reached out through Facebook and had found me and said, I wanted to let you know how close I was to giving up, and it was like you were in my house watching what was happening, and thank you, because you gave me hope to go on. Because so you're so right, Tina. When we share, when we step into our power, our experiences help other people get through. This is Colleen, and I'm complete for now.
Thank you so much for sharing, Colleen. Mary Kim, did you want to share something? I saw you're unmiking.
Yes, I'd love to. Loving this topic. Well, first I want to say my youngest memory that I have is I must have been either 4 or 5 years old, and we just moved from the Bronx to Florida. And I remember hearing my parents' conversations that the house is still under construction. We have to stay in this rental for a little bit. And I remember my brother was riding those 8-wheelers back in the day. I think it was an 8-wheeler. There were those plastic things, and the kids rode them, and I think it was an 8-wheeler. That's my earliest memory. And in regards to what has gone to help through the pain of falling down and getting back up for me, couple things. The first thing, my first big traumatic adversity, good morning, Dequan, was, when I was 12, and when I learned that day and the week after that is that life goes on, and life is going to throw different adversities to you and setbacks, and crap happens. And the adults around me, they just picked up life in it. Life went on. And that taught me that, we're just going to have to live in the moment, and we don't know when our time is going to be. But the thing that I believe today at 49, about to be 50, that really helped me get through all of it is, one, my faith in God. The second thing is journaling. That's a dairy. My son's like playing wrestling with me. The second thing is journaling. I think that saves mind and spirit, just for getting things out of my head and trusting a piece of paper more than I did humans at that time. And the last thing I want to say is just really leaning deep inside of me, knowing that, this life can't be all that life is about. And I give that to, I believe in God, Him giving that into my spirit, because, of course, I was thinking that, but I don't think in form and moving this earth without, the push from my God. So those are the things, and I agreed everything what Colleen said. Like me, I'm all about leaning into it for the last year of sharing my story, because of how crucial it is. Because so many in this world deal with it on their own, or can't deal with it and think they're the only one, and it's crucial. And just one last thing soon, because we're going to have our first live event in New York next year along that topic. So I'm yielding the mic. Thanks, Tina, and everyone.
Whoop, whoop. Thank you. Prince Cynthia and Ash, did you guys want to share anything before I went to our audience? Alrighty. Soul, I see you blinking, girlfriend. What's your thoughts on the topic? Would you like to share anything?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you, as usual, Tina, for creating this space. I resonate a lot with what you shared as far as how you let go, how you healed, etc. I totally resonate. Something that I can take from this conversation is about sharing more. What I've done in my life is I've uplifted people, I've encouraged people, but I never shared as much as far as the trauma aspect of it. And for me, my trauma happened, 2015, 2016, and I haven't been vocal about it. And that's something that I'm taking away from this conversation. I know that when I was dealing with what I dealt with, which I'm not going to bring up right now, even though I'm talking about sharing, but I'll share it at a different time. But something I did was I sat down in that space. Obviously, the trauma itself, I was just like overwhelmed with like all sorts of emotions. But I did sit in the space. I acknowledged it, and like Mary Kim said, I believe it was Mary Kim that just said it. After a while, people just move on with their lives. They'll be there to support you, but after a while, people just they got to keep moving. And that's when I realized, like, okay, so, you have to get out of this hole. You have to get out of this funk. And I started to talk to God and actually listen to his message. I stood in silence and in stillness. And I did listen to him. And it was time to move, start to take action, journal, breathe, pray, walk, exercise, do it all. And obviously surround yourself with your tribe, because like you always say, Miss Tina, your tribe is your vibe. So I appreciate the space. I appreciate all these badasses in this group, and love you all. And thank you for the reminder that I do have to share my story.
Love it. Soul, I want to share one more thing to that. So guys, Soul made a great she brought up something very important about sharing your story. But before you do this with someone, ask permission to share with someone. And someone did this to me the other day. They said, my therapist told me I have to reach out and talk to someone, and I'm reaching out to you. Is that okay? For me, I didn't care, guys. I would share to everyone. Right after my son, Facebook was my therapy. And she was like, Mom, you cannot be crying every day on Facebook. I didn't care. I just had to get it out. But you have to ask people permission. My son's girlfriend, every day I'd be posting stuff. I tag her, years later. And she's like, Mom, you can't go doing that. You ask her permission. And I asked her and I said, I'm sorry. Is it okay if I do this? Because it would bring me joy. Because then I said to her, I said, you may feel so low. So before you start pouring your stuff on people, ask them permission. Is it okay if I share something with you? I need to speak with someone. And then once you ask them permission, wait for them to reply, and then tell them what you expect them to do. All right? Is it okay if I share with you? And if so, I would like you to just listen. Because sometimes we just want people to listen. We don't need to hear anything. We don't care. We just want to get it out. We're just so mad. We're so hurt. We're so frustrated. We just want to get it out. And we just want you to listen. Sometimes we want your advice. We may not listen, but we want to hear your advice. Sometimes we want you to tell us what you think. But those are my tips. So thank you so much for sharing that. A-Star, do you want to share anything before we get out of here, Mama, with the topic? If so, on mic, would love to hear from you. If not, we're going to start rounding up the room. And Lisa, are you ready to close us out with your thought of the day? Because Lisa is amazing. Guys, if you're wondering where you are, you're in the Fit, Healthy, and Blessed Club. We're live on Clubhouse, my favorite app. We're also on YouTube. If you click the link at the top, please do me a favor. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. On this YouTube channel, you're going to get a little bit of everything. You're going to get fit, you're going to get healthy, you're going to get blessed through fitness exercises, motivational videos, recipe tools, skincare, you name it, it's on this YouTube channel. So please subscribe to my YouTube. If you're on Facebook, share it out into those Facebook treats. If you're in LinkedIn, thank you for watching and paying attention. Otherwise, thank you for coming through. Naza, Laura, Telly, Melissa, Pete, Shannon, Aretha, Mommy, Rosa, all my moms. Lisa, are you ready to give us your thoughts on traumatides, how to get over it, and your thoughts? If so, on mic, we'd love to hear from you.
Sure thing, no pressure.
She's like, no pressure, with all the pressure behind it.
Okay, well, you know what? I'll start out with my first memory. and it's a bad memory, right? But it no longer defines me. And it was being molested from 4 to 8. My very first memory being in my father's car. It looked like Al Bundy's car, that brown, horrible car. And I remember hearing the song For the Love of Money, going into my babysitter's room. And day 1 to day 2 is when the molestation began. And that's my first memory, right? But it's in that space when you're that young, you don't fully, because I was 4, you don't fully understand the concept of crawling under a rock. All you know is you get up every morning and you go. So I learned how to bend in storms in that moment. And I learned how to go and push through, because that's what you do at that age. You fall, you get up, you dust off the dirt off the boo-boo, and you keep it pushing, unless it's like super painful and you got to run to your mother, but then you see your friends play and you want to go back and play. So you learn how to push through. But then when something like that happens to you, you're handed a life sentence. And what would happen to us right now if we were handed a life sentence that was not ours? We would file an appeal. I need an appeal, judge, because that's not mine. That wasn't me. I didn't do it. And it took years for me to realize I needed to file an appeal. He handed me a life sentence that my voice was not mine, that my body did not belong to me. And I walked through that for a long time. Long time. I've been in an abusive marriage for 10 years because of that life sentence. And finally, the desire for my future finally became greater than the pain of my past. And I pushed hella hard. And as many of you said in this room, I got with God. And I said, why? Why? Why me? And he brought me to James 1:2. Count it all joy. Count it all joy. Because I'm strengthening something in you. And I'm pulling things out of you. But more importantly, your storm is not just about you, Lisa. Your storm is not just about you. The Bible is full of storms that wasn't just about them. We read it and we learn who God is because of that story. We went to Jesus because of their story. We're believing his promises because of their story. There are many people where I'm the only Bible they read and the only Jesus they meet. And they go to the kingdom because despite being molested, despite surviving 9/11, despite being in an abusive marriage, despite all of the things, I still stand. I still stand. Because Sharon, I tell them, why I push now is because that 4-year-old girl fought for me to be here. If nothing else, honor the younger you by pushing through today. And remember, all the things we go through are temporary. They may feel like they last in a hell of a long time, but it's temporary. You live to see another day. You'll make it through. It's not going to break you. You will bend, you will lean, but you will not be broken. And no one can define you who did not create you. Don't let these storms define you. Don't lead with them. Know who you are outside of them, because they will pass. And you will still be here, who he created you to be. Not molested Lisa, but Lisa Tate Stevenson, the one that was created in Christ. Stand in that dopeness and be proud that you got to walk a storm and people got to watch that you didn't even know was watching. The woman that bled crawled through that crowd, never declared unclean, got on her hands and knees. And as much as we want to focus on her healing, I want you to consider how many people turned to Jesus because of that moment. The storm is bigger than you, baby. But the blessing is we all get to play a part in another woman standing because we made it through our triumphs and our tragedies. So this is Lisa, and I am complete.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Did you guys hear the strength and the power in everything she said? I don't think we could have ended this room any better. Lisa, thank you so much for coming through. This is definitely a room for the replays. This is a definitely click follow, subscribe, forward it to someone who you feel is going through something. And when Lisa talked about being a survivor of 9/11, it made me realize we did an event for 9/11 last year, because anyone that I'm around, if I feel they've gone through something and it can help someone else, You know, it was an amazing room what we did. So I forgot about that, Lisa. Sometimes we forget about the craziness that we've gone through in life. And she summed it up so quickly with so much power. Being molested at 4 years old, abusive marriage, surviving 9/11, but it came through so powerful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Lisa. Guys, you're in the 8 a.m. cup of motivation. When you come in here, we're going to motivate you, inspire you. We're going to give you the tools, the skills, and strategies to get all your wins in life, but it starts with your mindset. You got to pour the right stuff into your head. What's in your cup? You see this cup right here? This is your 8 a.m. cup of motivation. By the way, if you want one of these cups, click on my Instagram or my YouTube or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, that's what happens when you come into this space. We're here Monday through Thursday. We will not be here tomorrow because I am traveling and I don't want to, put too much pressure on my mods. But Mob Squad today, crushing it. Lisa, crushing it. Renee just got off her flight, so she's not able to speak. Welcome, Renee. My girl Ash, Mary Kim, Colleen, Corinne, Cynthia. Guys, we're here for you. Don't forget, this month, are we in November yet? Yes, we're in November. The end of this month, we're having an event, Hope for the Holidays. Lisa spoke last year at that event. This is a virtual event that I put together for anyone who's gone through some type of traumedy, and it's challenging for them to get through the holidays. And some people will share their stories, but the main thing, the purpose of this room is to get you through the holidays, to give you some hope, because for some people, the holidays aren't a happy time. It brings back those memories of someone they may have lost or something that may have happened into their life. So we will be posting more information on that moving forward. Otherwise, guys, we will see you Monday morning, 7:55, kicking in the doors. But don't forget Saturday, Lord of mercy. Corinne Cynthia runs a room in here Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock. Is that correct, Corinne Cynthia? It's called
11 a.m.
Thank you, Mama. It's 10 o'clock somewhere. 11 a.m. Eastern. It's called Mental Health Awakenings. Is that correct?
You got it right.
Yes, guys. You thought today's room was deep. Come through here Saturdays at 11 o'clock. It goes super deep. They talk about topics that people are afraid to talk about. What are you guys talking about this Saturday, Corinne Cynthia?
Oh, goodness. Let me check.
As she's checking, guys, they go through topics like mental health, bipolar they spoke about one week. You got the topic?
No, not yet.
She doesn't have it yet, but it's okay. Thank you all for scrolling through. I just want to give another thank you to Dimmy, Naza, Laura, Telly. Hey there, Lenny. I got to meet Lenny. Hi, Lisa, my girl from Germany. Hey there. I see Shannon. I see Pete, Aretha. You got the topic yet, girlfriend? Mommy, Rosa. It's okay if she doesn't have it through here on guys. Otherwise, Saturday, 11 o'clock. We're back here Monday, 7:55. Have a great weekend. We love you all. Peace and a bottle of hair grease. Bye. Ciao, ciao.